I wanted to get more feedback than I had in the past, to get more support, changing my math block into more of a workshop style, to try out new problem solving strategies and make sure that my activities are aligned to the TEKS and that the rigor is where it needs to be.
Well, Mrs. Stan came to me and she wanted to try different strategies in her classroom and ensure that she was teaching to the TEKS and that her lessons were aligned and students were being monitored appropriately. And I took the opportunity, her eagerness to want to learn and willingness to have a coach come into her classroom definitely made me excited, and so that's how it started.
We started out the year talking about our goals for the students. It was our first year in this situation, so we were able to start with a fresh beginning and establish what we wanted our math block to look like, and just checking in and planning, a couple times a week together and making sure we're staying on track.
So it was more of a partnership. We collaborated a lot, discussed how things went, and met daily for check-ins, and then planned once to twice a week collaborating, and then definitely following up in classroom, making sure that what we had planned or tried out had actually worked.
So we always started with the end in mind. We planned to see where we needed to have our students by the end of the unit, and made sure that our formative check-ins were aligned to the overall TEK, but also checking in frequently with the students, whether exit tickets, formative assessments, common assessments, throughout the grade level in our class, to make sure that all of the students were where they needed to be well before the 6 weeks report card assessments.
Right, and I partnered with that and kind of was like a second set of eyes. So anything that may have been missed, or if something didn't work out, then I could possibly find different avenues or give different ideas, or possibly even different approaches on how to show it in class.
We saw lots of growth in the students over short term and long term. We were able to track them more specifically and tailor our small group instruction in a more informative and efficient way, so that the students could be supported on a more individualized basis.
And just reflecting over the whole year, every assessment that was given, the students seemed to increase. And during our planning and looking at that, like she said, the small groups were tailored, but we also tried to find a way to include spiral review throughout the year, just to ensure that they kept strong in those areas. And if anything, we enhanced it more and gave them enrichment where we could.
We made sure that our spiral review was focused towards those lower learning targets, where mastery wasn't where we wanted them to be, and we made sure that we met with students who weren't successful during the class period.
And I think even within units, found ways to incorporate those skills back in somehow, and trying to capture those students that we hadn't before.
Making sure that we could connect TEKS when possible, and reinforce skills throughout the course of the year instead of in isolation.
Well, it started off in planning. During planning, we would map it out and ensure that we had a strong open, close, and then our explore time, we had enough activities, and really preparing for what the student needed to get done, and then those can-dos that they could do if they did get finished. And then within that, differentiating for the different levels that the teachers had within their classrooms. And then every day giving some sort of an assessment to make sure that what we had intended the students to take away was actually taken away.
From the teacher perspective, I think there was more hesitation for me to just let the students explore and wait to clarify those misconceptions at the end. In the past, I've been more likely to keep the students closer to me so that I could monitor them closer. But this year it was definitely my goal to release some of the responsibility onto the students so that they could work meaningfully with their peers and work on that math communication and math talk within their groups, and then come back at the end and kind of clarify misconceptions but also reinforce the positives that came out of the Explore time. We've seen a lot of growth. Their retention of those vocabulary words and terms that we want them to retain over the course of the year has increased. They're much more confident in their communication to one another, whether in partners or in small group. And that communicating about math supports so much of their understanding when they're by themselves that it was nice to see so much growth.
Well, throughout the year, the performance on exit tickets or any formatives that we gave, including common assessments, increased. And their communication as far as work shown or just justification on problems increased throughout the year as well.
STAR went really well for our kids. I wanted to be at 100%, but we got to 95 after the first round, which is really exciting for kids who day to day face a lot of hardships. And most importantly, though, we were able to get 30% commended, which shows that these students weren't able to just memorize or retain the information. They were actually able to apply it in a more meaningful way and kind of take it to that next level, which is always the goal. I would really encourage other teachers to reach out, ask for help. That's what the coach is there for. It's not a catch you sort of situation. They want to be a support for you and your students, even more importantly. Just be open and come with suggestions and make it a partnership, and it'll be a great year.
Reach out. We're excited to have teachers come to us asking for any sort of help, even if it needs to just start with planning in your classroom and move into co-teaching or modeling a small, short lesson, giving different ideas or feedback. We're here to help you and your students, and anything that goes on within our partnership that we have stays between us, and it's really something we look forward to. And I don't know, I'd give it a shot.